A very common mistake that people make is they don't eat enough in general. It's very easy to undereat on a carnivore diet. Your hunger signals are very well, they're just much more mild and subtle than when you're eating carbohydrates. When you eat carbohydrates, it just accents that hunger signal, and your body thinks you really need energy when you don't necessarily. And so you tend to have a stronger signal. So when that goes away, you have a much more subtle signal, and so people can undereat very, very easily. I did for the first few years that I was doing this, and I even noticed this. I was like, I haven't eaten in 3 days, 4 days. I'm working out like crazy, and like I should really eat. But I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm just not hungry. I'm just not hungry. But anytime I would eat, it tasted amazing, and I enjoyed it. And that's when I came to realize that taste signal is a better marker. And so you have to relearn your hunger signals and going by taste. So if meat, fatty meat especially, because as any chef will tell you, fat is flavor. If you're eating fatty meat and you're hungry, it will taste good. And so you're getting that positive feedback. But then eventually, once your body has enough of it, it actually will get less and less positive feedback until you get no positive feedback. And then you just feel like, I'm not really interested in eating this, and you just naturally stop. If you keep eating it, you'll actually get negative feedback, and it'll actually start tasting bad, and you won't want to do that. And some people, I have patients that have had portion issues, and they're used to eating a large volume of food, and they say, I can't finish my meals. I get halfway through, and I feel nauseous, and I hate it. It just tastes disgusting, and I have to force feed myself. And of course, I explained to them, well, this is your body telling you that you were actually done halfway through the meal. People will maybe they'll be eating more meat, and they'll be eating a lot more fat than they used to. But of course, we've been told for the last 40 years, 50 years, don't eat any fat. And so most people are eating a lot more fat than they used to eat, but it's not enough fat. And so they're thinking, it couldn't possibly be that, because I'm eating so much more fat than I ever ate. So obviously I'm eating enough fat. But in fact, it's a lot more than that. So animals in the wild typically get around 70 to 80% calories from fat. Carnivores, because they eat animals with fat, and they go for the fat first. But also herbivores, because that's actually what they break down fiber into. So they eat fiber, but it's actually their bacteria that digest and absorb the fiber. And as a byproduct, they release fat and protein. So even a gorilla and a cow that just eat plants, grass and leaves, they actually absorb fat and protein. And so we all need fat and protein. They get that, gorillas get around 70% calories from fat. Cows get even closer to 80% calories from fat. And again, so that's a lot more fat than people think, because we've been told to get like less than 20% calories from fat. Well, now you want more than that. And it's different for different people, but it's generally a lot more than people think. And so if people are tired or they're lethargic, especially if they're not having as good of workouts and they don't have the same energy levels that they used to on exertion, that can be a major reason why. And so just to think about that, maybe, am I eating enough fat?